Did we go live? Yes, we are live. Hi, I'm Rabbi Brian.
Hi.
This is Religion Outside the Box. Oh, it doesn't say. It just says what the date is. But this is a Saturday service. This is the 323rd one that we've done consecutively. We haven't skipped any of the numbers. We're doing them one at a time. I keep getting requests from some of you to do more than one at a time, and I will not. We will do this in the here and now. I don't even know what I'm saying. All right, let me put my friends on the screen who are still joining in. Hello, friends.
Hi, friend.
Oh,
Hello.
Glad to see you.
Hello.
People are still joining in. If it is your first time here, super welcome to you. We ask people to keep their microphones unmuted so that they can participate along with. I'm going to start with a prayer, which is a prayer from Mary Oliver. She wrote this. Praying. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It can be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention. Then patch a few words together and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but a doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak.
Wow. Wow, I love that.
Great poem. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot.
Yes, I like that.
Or a few stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together. And don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but a doorway into thanks, a silence in which another voice may speak.
Beautiful.
sure.
We spoke last week a little bit. Do I have all my co-hosts co-hosting and admitting people?
Yes.
Thank you,
I am.
co-host. Appreciate it. We started last week, we spoke a little bit last week about this Duchenne smile. About this, there's a smile that's just the one, hey, smile, we're taking a selfie, and everyone just kind of shows their teeth, puts their cheeks up a little bit. But then there's this real smile. And I don't mean to brag, but I've been working it out. I've been working out this little muscle up here. And I think it's a muscle like any other. So if we take Mary Oliver's advice for a moment and just sit for a moment and see if you can't pay attention for a few moments and see if you can't kind of activate the smile up in your eyes. Can you see that? Okay, here's my fake smile. I'm going to do an impression of my mom's fake smile. None of you know my mom, but she does this for her. Every photo of hers. Does a big mouth, turns her head to the side. But let's go for a real smile. So think about blue irises or think about whatever sparks a little bit of joy. And see if you can't. There you go. There you go. Get a little bit of a real smile in there. It's a tiny little muscle, and it deserves a workout. If you're not in a smiley mood, of course, this is just a suggestion, nothing you need to do.
No.
I'm looking at all the little smiley faces on my screen. Can we do it one more time? A little extra Duchenne smile. Think for a moment. Get the smile up, and I feel like I'm doing the weirdest Richard Simmons act here. Smiling with the oldies. So see if you can't get that smile. I lost mine. There it is. Just a little extra smile. A little extra joy. There's a quote from Meister Eckhart who says, God wants nothing of you but the gift of a peaceful heart. And it's got the word God in it, which might not be comfy for all of us. But I think another thing that God would want is smile a little more. not to gloss over the problems, but when you have a moment to take a moment to just smile, to celebrate joy. Let me put it that way. When you can find a little bit of joy, hold on to that as hard as you can. And if you're able to do magic and make it appear out of nowhere, do that too. Okay, I want to do some review from last week. Highlights of last week included me reading a children's story to a group of people, all of whom are children at heart. We had some homework last week as well, of sending text messages to other people and saying hello to other people. Let me see. Random text. Oh, and then we have been on our topic. So before I get us into our topic that we were on last week, and I want to continue, let me just take a look and see all the faces of people who are here. Hello, faces of people who are here. Glad to see you. Some of the hands are waving. That's wonderful.
Hello.
And let's say hi to our friends who are on YouTube who are watching, and people who are on Facebook, and people who are watching later. I'm going to put you all on the screen. There you are. And people on Facebook wave back. That's a joke. We can't see you. So I want to talk about, my kids taught me the phrase. So we'd been talking about nitpicking and the 70% rule, which we're no longer calling the 70% rule because it caused more trouble than it helped. But we had this idea of nitpicking. And it leads to a little bit of a larger conversation about mistakes. And
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Boy, do we have a compulsion to fix mistakes. My kids taught me this phrase. Well, actually. And they do it in this really small, annoying little voice of, well, actually, that's the one we're trying to avoid. And I was thinking about mistakes and nitpicking, and I thought about when I have gone to France. I'm fortunate enough I went with the family, and they made me learn French in school. So I had un petit peu de français. I got a little. Je parle français avec un accent aigu. I can speak French with a terrible accent, I can say. And in France, they're very well known for correcting the grammar of the English speaker who is trying to speak in French. And I found that to be very annoying until I found out that they correct each other's grammar too.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's like, all right, it's not just me. It's just a thing that's done. I don't speak French. It's not, language to me is not sacred. I can make mistakes and be okay with them. How many of you is that just really, really uncomfortable to look at how I misspelled the word mistakes? Right? Okay, I appreciate the honesty. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much.
I can't see it. I can't see it, so it's okay.
I appreciate that, Larissa. You got an advantage.
I'd rather see it with STEAK.
Mistakes. It's hard, right? There's a compulsion to fix it. There's a compulsion to fix it. What's the problem with if Emmett's telling me a story and he says, me and Annie went out last night and we da-da-da-da-da. What's the problem if I correct his grammar and say, you can't say me and Annie, you have to say Annie and I? What's the downside of doing that?
It interrupts the flow of the story.
It interrupts the flow of the story, absolutely.
And who cares?
Doesn't change the point.
Well,
who cares, really?
It improves the kids' English.
It interrupts the connection.
And it interrupts the connection. And go ahead, Nathan. Always glad to hear from you. What you got?
It asserts that whatever is important to him is not as important
important as this universal prescription that you must say Annie and I. It's kind of gross.
It's also telling them that they are uneducated
Right?
or less than you.
He wants to tell me a story, and I correct him. How off is that? Go ahead, Larice.
Well, when someone corrects me, I don't want to even go through it. I don't even want to finish the story. I didn't even want to talk to them because it's insulting, and then I lose my train of thought. So I'm not going to continue what I was going to say.
Right. Thank you, Larice. Go ahead, James.
I have a reply for people who correct me, and I say, I stand corrected.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So here, I'm going to give you a hint towards where I thought this would go, and I love where we're taking it. Mistakes are related to this.
4-1.
It says on the screen 4:1. 4-1. How are mistakes related to 4-1?
You have to give 4 compliments to one.
What does that mean?
Right. So the official... Hold on. Trying to get Connie back on the screen. The idea of 4-1 is that for every one criticism, in order to not turn the person deaf against what you're saying, for every one criticism or correction, you have to have 4 positive, neutral to positive. They don't have to all be positive, but 4 interactions that are neutral or positive for every one correction to keep the person from being shutting down and not listening anymore.
It helps if the number 1 is not the first thing and the number 4 tail, because they never.
It helps if you don't lead with the criticism. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely, Harold. Go ahead, John.
The one thing I wonder about with me and Annie is I'm wondering if there's a pattern where by starting that way, I'm always putting myself first.
By saying me and Annie as opposed to...
I and Annie. If I say Annie and I, then that's much more collective than if I put myself first all the time.
All right, so...
I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm just saying
I got
that's an awareness that I would want to have.
I gotcha. It is an unintended... I don't think he's intending to center himself in that, but I understand what you're saying.
Unless it's a repeated pattern, yes.
Oh, no, he repeats this. He says me and Annie or me and Kyle or me and my friends. Okay. I'm not taking it as an ego trip. I'm just trying to hold my tongue from jumping in and fixing it. He'll get it eventually. Or he won't. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, one of the things I would wonder about is whether he knows better, and that's how he speaks colloquially. But he knows that if he was in an interview and he had to say something equivalent, that he knows how to say it right because we code switch, right? Between
that he's just chatting with his friends that way, and I should be honored that he's just chatting with me in his casual speak. I got you.
Yeah.
Opposed to Larice had her hand up. Did you get to say what you wanted to say?
I noticed that people correct me who are teachers the most.
Uh-huh.
And I do get, so I'm just putting out there's a category that that does that a lot.
Yeah, it's a professional hazard. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Avi. Hi, Stacy. I didn't say hi to you guys yet. And Diana snuck in. And Steve and Ann and Mary. Glad to see you. I think I got everyone else by name. And Julie, glad to see that you're here. Are there people on the second screen that I'm missing? If I missed your name, I apologize. I know that we're all adults, and the idea of not having your name said aloud should, on paper might feel like a small slight, but it still hurts, doesn't it? Okay, just me.
No, I have to go to therapy if you don't say it to me.
I gotta find it. Some of you know this. My therapist unplanned had to shutter her practice. Just, I don't know what happened, but I'm dealing with it. Yeah, go ahead, George, and then Diana.
Well, you don't have to be annoyed at the corrections. Again, it's something over which you have agency. I'm frankly thankful if I make a mistake and somebody corrects me. It depends on what attitude the correction comes from.
I think it also depends. It depends on the attitude from the correction. It also depends how many kind moments do you have with that person for that one correction.
And I was going to ask you where that scientific ratio came from. Gottman. First. Oh, there really is science behind this.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Thank you.
I can't remember Gottman's first name, but he did one of the largest studies of couples, and what the number one predictor of if a couple was to stay together had to do with the number of times they corrected each other.
John Gottman.
That really appeals to the scientist. That appeals to the scientist in me.
Thank you, Diana. Diana, you have more thoughts?
I offer this perspective somewhat timidly because I very much endorse the 4-to-1, and maybe this is my peccadillo, but there is a dumbing down of the English language that
has been said by older people throughout every generation.
Yes. I believe it.
So let me.
My question is, if you are mispronouncing or using incorrect grammar, whose responsibility is it to help that person learn? If we're all just going to be nice all the time, do we just?
That's a good point. I have opted not to. I have opted to prioritize listening to my son than saying, you can't say me and Annie. That's too colloquial. It's too street. It doesn't belie your education. Like what? I've opted not to do that. Any of you meet Emmett? I wonder if you would. If Emmett were awake at such a time and he were here on the screen and he said, well, me and Dad took a trip to the Redwoods. I wonder how many of you, I'm sure many of you would want to correct him, but I doubt on a first impression with the guy, you're going to spend your time doing that. We really only correct the ones we love. Oops.
No.
And gently.
Yeah. We would correct Emmett. You would correct Emmett gently because you don't know him. I think that's absolutely true. Go ahead, Nathan, and then George.
Also, on so many of the things that we think of as grammar rules were invented in the 1800s as a form of conspicuous consumption.
I don't understand that.
They're a way to say, I had the time and money to spend on transforming
interesting.
My colloquial speech into an artificial form.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows that I'm better than.
Right. I love that. I don't love that, but I love
hundreds of grammatical rules that make up the bulk of the language we pick up subconsciously and we obey without question.
Right.
It's just this list of add-ons
I saw
that everyone's always paying attention to.
There was a talk I listened to, and he said that the not ending a sentence in a preposition was trying to make English look like Latin. That it was a rule in Latin.
A lot of the grammar rules from the 1800s are trying to make English look like Latin or trying to analyze it as if it's Latin.
And it's not. And it ain't.
And it ain't.
Go ahead, George.
I was going to point, getting back to the French. The French have an official commission on language. It's one of the few nations where there is an official body that decides how the language should be spoken.
And if you break it, the grammar police come after you.
I don't know how far that goes, but there are little things like Americanisms that creep into French have to be approved somehow by them. Like the word hamburger, for instance.
It's kind of hard to police people's language that much, but God bless. Go ahead, Alan.
The French do it.
Yeah, so interesting. This is about the French. I lived there for a few years. And one of the reasons that French was often used in diplomacy is because there are so many subtle ways to say things. And I worked with a woman who was a secretary, a British secretary who spoke French. And she said she knew exactly how to ask for a pencil from a fellow secretary. And it was pretty precise. I thought that was interesting.
Interesting. That is interesting. Go ahead, Avi.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I love this conversation, and Rabbi, I'm really glad you brought in the 4-to-1 ratio. I'm just thinking of being a school principal and running around with the teenagers, and I like to use the term like village speak and formal speak. So if I can do the village speak, if I know how to chat up my students in the hallway and have a secret handshake and have a positive rapport, then the minute somebody walks in the building where my students really need to like button it up, I can correct them. I can be like, okay, y'all, it's time for formal speak now.
Yeah.
But I mentioned that, Rabbi, because it goes back to what you're saying about the 4-to-1. Like, if you're not the person that's there with the praise and the interaction and the, then you're probably not the person to teach the lesson, right? Like, I've seen students react to strangers on the bus, on the city bus, that are trying to correct their behavior, and it's like, yo, you don't know these kids from anybody else. So I don't know, there's a lesson in there somewhere to me about like kindness and like reaching out to someone on their side as opposed to pushing your side. I don't know.
Yeah. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Absolutely, Betsy.
That's one that fits there.
Yeah. They don't care what you know unless they know that you care. Go ahead, James. Thank you, Betsy.
I think what Avi is saying really strikes home because it's a power flex. It shows that you have more power than the person that you're correcting.
Right. And that's adults on the bus correcting kids. It's just rude. You're older, that doesn't mean that you have the right. Who authorized you to correct the kid's grammar? You shouldn't be wearing your shorts like that. What? Get out of here.
Shouldn't be wearing your pajama bottoms.
Right. Absolutely. My kiddos wear they wear fleece pajama bottoms as though those are pants.
I know that's the style now, I guess.
I love that you're laughing. Right? That brings us back to this idea of a spiritual barometer. I know I'm in a bad mood if a kid with the pants upsets me. And I know I'm in a good mood if the kids with the pants I'm laughing along with. Oh my God, can you believe what me and the kids saw? I was trying to do kid speak. I appreciate the two of you who got my back there.
Uh-oh. What's that?
All right, we got a little there's a cost to pay for us all having our microphones unmuted, but I still think it's worth the price.
Yeah.
Any follow-ups from last week about Mama Duck and learning?
Love the story.
Yeah, so it was a good story.
It's a good kindergarten.
It was good.
I taught kindergarten, and that was a really good story for them.
Yeah. All right, I want to talk about mistakes. I lost the card for mistakes. Of course I did. Here it is.
Was that a mistake?
No, yes. Yes.
Accidentally on purpose.
So, mistakes. This is what I'm about to tell you. I've told before, but I think it's so darn fascinating. Catherine Schultz has a PhD in mistakes. I don't know how that happened, but she apparently has a PhD in mistakes. Oh, I'm going to come back to... Let me come back to Catherine Schultz. Oh, I was going to go on a tangent, and that's why I wrote this down, so I could go on the tangent and come back, but guess what I forgot? What that tangent was. So... Oh, no!
See if you can find the cosecant instead.
70% needed to be said. Mistakes. All right, I'm going to just go with the Catherine Schultz part because I'm lost in the sauce otherwise. Catherine Schultz asks a group of people, and I will ask you, and keep track of your answers. She asks a group of people, what is it? She starts their talk by saying, what does it feel like when you make a mistake? And people answer, and usual answers include, doesn't have to be your answer, but what does it feel like when you make a mistake? It feels...
Terrible.
It feels terrible.
Right?
Embarrassing.
It feels embarrassing.
Yeah.
No.
It might feel terrible. It might feel embarrassing. It depends on who you are. But what does it feel like when you make a mistake? And some of you know... Go ahead.
I guess it all depends on what it is, right?
Okay, all right, so it's going to be variable, terrible, variable, embarrassing. And then what Catherine Schultz... Go ahead. Was there another voice in there?
Dumb.
If you feel dumb, you feel stupid.
Yeah. But I agree with Clarice. It really depends on the mistake.
So let me pull back the curtain. And go ahead, Candace.
Well, what if you make a mistake and you don't realize it?
That's exactly what she talks about. So thank you for bringing us there. She says, these are the answers that were just given. It feels terrible. It feels embarrassing. You feel dumb. She says, what you just did was you made a mistake. And you answered the question of, what does it feel like when you know you made a mistake? But what does it feel like when you make the mistake? It doesn't feel like anything.
Yes, it does. Well, what about the other person, though? The other person, you don't know if he's lying about the mistake.
If I make a mistake and I forget, I went somewhere recently and I had one of my shirt buttons, my collar buttons was undone. And my collar. And I went to the bathroom, I washed my hands, and I thought, why didn't anybody tell me that my button was off? And that was just a mistake. But what did it feel like when I was getting dressed and putting my shirt on? Did I know that I left my button undone? No, of course not. What does it feel like when I made that mistake? It didn't feel like anything. What's it feel like to make a mistake? Nothing. Go ahead, Maria.
I disagree with that.
Good.
I mean, if I look at the opposite, what does it feel like to do something good? Like if you ask that question.
What does it feel like to do something good? I feel proud when I've done something good. I feel noble when I've done something good.
If I can answer the opposite, or if there, then, and there's times I make mistakes. I know it's a mistake to put this on a shelf that's too narrow, but I'm in a bad mood. I'm going to do it anyways, and I'm going to tempt the universe to prove me right, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I can know what it feels like.
So doing something good is with intention.
Right. The mistake is not done with intention. But Maria, you're absolutely right. There are times that I do something And I know better.
Yeah.
I know better.
So you're talking about yourself or the other person telling you about the mistake?
Oh, it's a great question. It's a great question.
Yeah.
What's it feel like when I make a mistake? It feels like nothing most of the time. What's it feel like when somebody tells me I made a mistake? Oh, I get defensive.
Mm-hmm.
What's it feel like when I'm told I made a mistake? And it depends on who's delivering it and how they're delivering the news, and it depends on my mood. A lot of variables. But what's it feel like when I'm told I made a mistake? What does it feel like? What does it feel like when you say, "Hey, Rabbi, you spelled mistakes wrong"? How do you imagine it feels if I wrote mistakes and I spelled it? How do you imagine it feels to Emmett for me to say, "Hey, dude, you can't say me and Annie. You have to get the grammar correct and say Annie and I"? What do I imagine it feels like for him?
Not good.
Not good.
I guess it all depends on the person.
Yeah, you can't feel for
Yeah,
feelings.
there's no black and white.
What
Not
do you?
good, but not awful.
What does it feel like when we make a mistake? Okay, so let me apply it to. What does it feel like to me when I make a mistake? It usually doesn't feel like much. Can I imagine? And the answer is yes. I learned this lesson when I was teaching math. Was I caught myself, and somewhere around the same time I watched this TED Talk by Catherine Schultz. I would say to students, why did you drop a negative sign 3 lines into the equation? And why did they drop a negative sign 3 lines into the equation? Because they were terrible people with loose morals and
What? Oh.
Why did
I don't
they
understand that?
It was a little sarcasm, Larice. Why did they drop a negative sign? Because they're human.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best way to deal with humans?
Gently.
Gently.
With love.
With love. We all know that. And when I realized I made a mistake because I misplaced something in my own office, the best way for me to respond to myself is?
Oh, well.
You made a mistake. Kindness.
Kindness, love, compassion, forgiveness. We keep talking about these same words over and over again every week. It's so strange.
And annoying at times. It's my bingo card.
Maria has taken her annoyance bingo to a new level and is now bragging to people that she was more annoyed than them. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, mistakes are when we find out that it wasn't a good thing to do.
Correct. But at the time that we do it, felt like the right thing to do.
So it's a difference between the sin and a mistake.
Explain.
I don't sin because I don't have to repent. If I make a mistake, I just correct it.
And sin's a little bit heavier of a word, isn't it, Emily?
Yeah, it is. I don't sin anymore.
Good. Go ahead, Diana.
I was thinking there's a piece around norms in this too. So if you adopt a norm and then violate it, maybe you see it as a mistake or others do, like me and Annie, etc. But it's also a norm to have your shirt collar buttoned.
Correct.
So,
correct.
At
least symmetrical.
Yeah. If you feel like that's the proper thing, then it's a mistake. If you don't, who cares? So, it's some of like, what do you endorse and adopt?
Exactly.
How you see it.
You got an amen from Ruth.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to take Ellen and then you, Larice. I got you after Ellen.
I think that learning kind of implies making mistakes.
Yes.
Back to your math, and which is why you said that teachers are more apt to and it can be very giving for somebody to correct you when you're trying to learn.
I used to teach in Spanish, in my second teaching gig, and my Spanish was not good enough to teach algebra. Just wasn't good enough. But I did it so that my students could continually correct me, which made it more fair and easier when I had to correct them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Larice.
I was walking Oliver, or we're walking, doing our route, and a woman was going by, and she stopped me, which is okay. I had my shirt buttoned wrong in the front.
Yeah.
So I didn't think for me it was a mistake. I didn't even think about it. I thought I felt the heart. My heart felt really, really, really thankful that she was kind enough to stop, saying your shirt is buttoned incorrectly. And I said, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much." And we haven't hardly talked about the heart at all. Everything is the head. And let's talk about the heart with this, because I was really, really thankful for her that she stopped and took the chance. I could have blew her out the door, but I didn't. It was a really kind thing to do.
I agree. As long as that's a wonderful example of how people's intention was good and it was received wonderfully. Go ahead, James, and then Jack.
I'm to the age now where I think about what I want my daughters to say about me at my funeral. And one of the things I hope they remember is a quote from Eckhart Tolle that I've tried to teach them all their lives, that if you make a mistake and you learn from it, it's not a mistake anymore. It's a lesson.
Right. Bob has been famous for telling us that here. Thank you, James. Jack?
Well, taking a step out of all of this, one of the great things that I've found about my life is I've been able to move forward by either chuckling or laughing at my own mistakes.
If you can do it, fantastic. That's a skill. I mean, that's like learning how to get the smile up here in my eye. That's a skill. That's not, we can't all do that instantly.
Mm-hmm.
You have any tips, Jack, on how we can get into taking ourselves? There's a quote, I can't remember who said it. Angels fly because they take themselves so lightly.
Oh.
It's a good play on words.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
You have any tips for us, Jack?
Yeah, the only tip I can think of at the moment is that it's relaxing.
Yeah.
Into realizing what you've done, which is quote a mistake, which is another word for sin.
Another growth opportunity. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's just a way of being able to take the next step after that. Don't let it stop you from being who you really are.
To take it all a little more lightly. I love that.
Sure. Yeah.
Go ahead, Emily.
Were we talking about forgiveness? I came in late, which I apologize.
You're forgiven.
But were we?
We were talking.
I have a certificate of forgiveness that you sent me, so it covers, good coverage there. But I just wondered if we had.
We were talking about correcting people. We were talking about corrections when we clearly see that others have made a mistake. How do we deal with that? And then when we see that we've made a mistake, how do we deal with that?
Okay, not forgiveness. Okay.
No, but I do have two quotes I brought about forgiveness.
Well, I have something to say about forgiveness that I would like to add to the group too.
I would like to hear what you have to say. Is that okay with the group? That's good. Yeah. Thank you.
I think it is wrong to ask forgiveness. I think that forgiveness is a gift and that we have the capability of giving that. I think that forgiveness, if we ask for forgiveness, we are putting pressure on people because people have to, they have to be, if they're a decent person, oh yeah, well, I gotta forgive. Okay, yeah, I'll forgive you. But I
How
think
about if I
asking for
said,
forgiveness is wrong.
I'm going to soften your wrong to asking forgiveness might sometimes be tricky? Because I can say to you, Emily, there's a thing. Well, I don't have to make the example about Emily. I'll make an example about my beloved upstairs. I fucked up Mother's Day.
Oh.
I did. I gave it to my kids to do. I'm like, that's your mom. Here's the thing she wants. I'll help you to do. But I didn't ride my kids hard about Mother's Day. And that was not right. And we spoke about it some yesterday. And I want to be able to say to her, you don't have to forgive me right now. But I want to acknowledge the wrong that I did.
Just skip Father's Day.
I think that I think we can feel bad if we have done something wrong. Absolutely. And I think that's a good thing to do that, to feel bad and have remorse. But asking somebody forgiveness puts pressure on them.
Okay, so I can agree with you that we need to be careful when we ask for forgiveness, that we're not.
Rabbi, what if you don't know what you did wrong?
It makes it a lot harder to ask for forgiveness.
And in reverse, the time when you have to correct somebody is you're forgiving them.
You're forgiving them that he said me and Annie?
Yeah, it's. I think, for me, what brings it to mind is I must, over my lifetime, I probably have come up against, this is for the men, times when I'd see a person that I knew or someone that I got to know at the time when I met them, and they were all dressed perfectly, sort of, but they all had their fly open.
Oh.
And didn't realize it.
Yep, yes.
What do you do? And
you tell
I never had any problem there, but I did it nicely in the context of how the conversation, if there was one, or how long, it took for me to find a space where I could say that, where I wouldn't embarrass.
Yeah. Or we can do the best we can to mitigate against embarrassment. We can.
Yeah.
Emily, I feel like you got more in there, honey. Like, was there a thing that happened that you can give us some more details about?
About a fly?
No, about asking for forgiveness.
No, I just think that forgiveness is a wonderful gift.
Forgiveness is a wonderful gift.
In one's own time, forgiveness can occur. And I think we can say, I hope that someday you're able to forgive,
Yeah.
Forgive me for whatever the wrong it was.
Yeah.
I hope someday you're able to do that.
I agree.
Asking, I think, for forgiveness is pressure.
Can we make it just cautionary? We should be careful when we ask somebody to forgive us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you all know that I had, as a professional, I worked with sex offenders. First thing they wanted was forgiveness from their victim. That's first thing.
And that put too much pressure on the victim.
Damn right. They'd already asked too much from the victim, and now they're asking for more.
Oh, yeah, that's
a great
heavy.
point.
That's a heavy.
1 o'clock.
It's a great point. Harold, you were saying something. Thank you,
I think
Emily.
we ought to throw forgiveness in the trash. I don't think there's any useful product that comes out of forgiveness asking or forgiving. I recognize what happened. I got to go on with my life. And Emily's right.
I'm going to feel very differently if you ask, if you've wronged me. I'm going to feel very differently if you ask for forgiveness or if you don't.
Did I do it intentionally or did I do it unintentionally?
I don't know. It's getting thick.
Yeah, so if I did it intentionally, then you ask
forget
the question.
Forgiveness. Yeah.
You say, why did you do that? Or if you did it unintentionally, you go on down the road.
Go ahead, Gord. Help us out, buddy. It's all on you.
I
no
think
pressure.
I think so much of this is contextual, like what Harold and Emily are talking about. Those are big emotionally charged issues. If I drop my wife's favorite mug, I'm going to apologize and ask for forgiveness. That's a minor thing. It's sort of like the mistakes piece. If somebody makes a little mistake about grammar, I don't need to correct that. If somebody misgenders my child, I'm going to correct that. You know, it's contextual, I think. And I appreciate when people correct me. I'm uncomfortable in the moment sometimes, but it's that, when you know better, you can do better.
Yeah.
Kind of idea. So
thank you for voicing in. Nathan, I'm going to jump to Julie, who hasn't put a word in first, and then we'll get to you. Go ahead, Julie.
I think that there's a difference between asking for forgiveness and acknowledging you're wrong.
Oh, wait. Say that again. Say that again.
Not acknowledging that you're incorrect, but acknowledging your hurt, what you might have done. I think that's necessary and important for us to do that piece of it. To say, hey, I didn't mean to hurt you. I did some behavior in a way that might have been hurtful, but not necessarily forcing will you forgive me? Because maybe they're not ready for that.
Right.
Maybe but it's important for you to say, I think it's important for both sides of that relationship
to hear
for you to recognize it and for them to hear that you recognize it.
Yeah.
And
I like the example, Gord, you gave of the coffee mug. Right? You reckon if I just say, oh, fuck it, it was your coffee mug, who cares? We have 5 others. It's a very different thing in acknowledging it of, oh my God, I know this was your favorite mug. Let me see if I can't find a replacement. I feel so bad. Go ahead, Nathan.
That's not asking for forgiveness.
I noticed maybe in my 20s that there were 2 I'm sorry's. They were homophones. One was the I regret what I did, I'm sorry. And the other was the now you don't get to give me a hard time about the bad thing I did. I'm sorry.
Right. We're going for the
as we're talking about
former.
Asking for forgiveness, that one hangs around with the you don't get to bug me about it anymore. I think forgiveness as a private act of self-liberation is great. I think
yes,
voluntarily expressed forgiveness is great. I do feel like it's a problem when it becomes an expectation or a request or a demand.
Right. We have no right to demand of somebody to forgive them.
Right.
We have no right to expect it to be forgiven.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Maria, would you lead us through some prayers? Some people we want to hold in light and love.
I will. These are the people to whom we are sending light and love. Pastor Robert in spirit and family, Maeve, Rita S., Karen O. and family, Alex C., and Shirley and Olivia. If there is another person in our community to whom we can offer light and love, please put their name in the chat, and I will add them to the list on Facebook. And for the people who aren't named, but who are in our thoughts, we send them light and love as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a few announcements. One, Religion Outside the Box board does not have any news, but it exists and it is meeting, and it will be, at some points here, I will be giving you reports from the board of directors. Second announcement, it's okay not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay.
I had a rough one last night, and I needed to remind myself it's all right not to be okay.
It's okay to be okay. Amen.
Amen. If you want to connect with people who are on the screen, you can join them through our contact list. Instructions are in the chat on Zoom. If you're not on the Zoom, you can't be in the contact list because you can't get but you can join us on Zoom. You don't have to have your camera on. You can just join us anytime and get that link to the contact list. And then I know I promised this last week, and I don't have it ready this week. I have a whole lesson on how to get less frustrated, and I'll get you that next week.
When are we getting the lesson? When are we getting the lesson on procrastination?
Also next week.
Middle name.
It's the week after next.
Sometime.
I have this one just to review that the goal of all of what we're talking about is we're shooting for connection more than correction. It's more important to connect with people as human beings than correct people on rules. And I had a follow-up on the story of the hat, the well, and insanity. Remember the story, I go to the well, there's no water. I go to the well, there's no water. I go to the well, but this time I'm wearing a hat, and it doesn't make a difference. I had a great example of this. My headphones. I need to replace my headphones. I know I need to replace my headphones, but I kept tinkering with settings, and then I'd be on the phone and someone would say, "You keep going in and out on the audio." And I'd say, Yeah, I know, I'm working on it. And I spoke with Al Brown, and he said, "Why don't you just treat yourself to a new pair of headphones?" And I did the same. I said, no, I'm not done checking all the things that I can check. And to prove the story wrong, I figured out what was wrong with the headphones. I got in touch with Apple, and they're replacing the headphone for free. So that undoes my... They're replacing it for free. Free being a very... I paid for the headphones the first time and I paid for Apple Care, so free is only so free. I got one last thing. this is from Service 321, and I never got to it. There's a study about rabbits. Have I shared this with the whole group? I don't think so. So there's a study about rabbits from the 1970s, and it's one of those things that I immediately went to the internet to look up if this was true. And there's enough evidence on the internet that it's true. It's called the rabbit effect. The fact that I had never heard of it kind of was annoying. Like, I kind of was like, how did someone fail in never having told me about this experiment? So they did an experiment on rabbits, and they gave the facts here. The facts aren't right, but that doesn't have anything to do with the moral of the story. They gave the rabbits high fructose corn syrup, starch, potassium sulfate, I don't know what. They gave the rabbits food that was really bad for them. And each cohort of rabbits fared the same, except for one. There was one group of rabbits that refused to gain weight and get sick like all the other cohorts of rabbits. And then they did the experiment again because they couldn't believe that this was true. And they did the experiment the second time, and one cohort of rabbits out of all the cohorts of rabbits did not fare badly. Like they didn't thrive. You know, they're rabbits in an experiment, but their cholesterol didn't go up as high, and they did just fine. And it wound up, and they called it the rabbit effect, that one cohort where the rabbits did well was a cohort where the researcher was encouraged to pet, to cuddle, and to spend time loving on the rabbits.
Whoa.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Love is unconquerable.
Jack, you say that like it's obvious. The rabbits who were cared for by humans, by people, the rabbits that were more kindly treated, fared better than the rabbits that didn't. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that the same is true for human beings, but I can't imagine why it wouldn't be.
Oh, well, there's the studies with regard to children in incubators. And they fare much better if somebody touches them and talks to them and this kind of thing, rather than they're just in their incubator getting whatever it is they
bright
need.
Lights and sounds. Yeah. So the moral of the story, well, why don't you tell me the moral of the story? What's the moral of the story?
Be kind.
Be kind, yea, verily, unto thyself and thy enemy.
The human touch is everything.
Oh, Shirley, and happy birthday, honey. You just had a birthday.
Yeah, I did. Thank you. 70, a big one.
Good for you.
All right.
I hope you get touched. I hope you get touched a lot.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Love conquers all. Love conquers all.
Love conquers all. Go ahead, Connie.
Love conquers all.
Love conquers all. Amen. All right, homework time. Go be loving.
And kind and compassionate.
You could do one of the three. Loving, kind, or compassionate. If you want extra credit, do two of them. Do loving, kind, loving, compassionate, compassionate, and kind, compassionate. Or I think we're
They all the same.
Or you could do all three, or just do one. Yeah, I think they might be about all the same, Greg. I like to use the phrase, I think Maria's pointing out, I like to say love, compassion, and kindness. Because if I just say love, then people go, well, actually, there are 5 different types of love. But if I say love, compassion, and kindness, everyone understands I'm talking about an idea. I'm not talking about just one thing. All right, let's say goodbye to all those people who usually join us on Facebook. And we're going to do we're going to not record this part. Hold on. Let me turn off that and broadcast.